versus Jalen Hurts. The noise is getting louder as the season is going on. Have they handled this situation right?
You know, Key, it's getting close to saying no because at the end of the day, as you know, the best players should play. And we've been in a situation where one year we traded for Rick Meyer. He wasn't very good. And we saw Coach Parcells bench him, that's right, and play Ray Lucas, an undrafted free agent out of Rutgers. He gave us a better chance to win. And when you're the head coach, the standard is the best players play. That goes for the left tackle. It also goes for the quarterback. Right now it's clear Carson Wentz lacks confidence. He cannot pull the trigger consistently. Jalen Hurts, we don't know. The only grade we could give Jalen Hurts is a grade of incomplete, but we know that he's young, he's athletic, he's competitive. So I think that window is closed. And if I'm Doug Pederson, I got to look at this objectively and say, who gives us the best chance to win?
Mike, the best chance to win is the line. I think that is Jalen Hurts. The one thing that keeps pushing down on me is you have to follow the money. You have to follow the money. And if you were to do that, the money would deem that Jalen Hurts probably never sees the field because you're going to stick it through with Carson Wentz.
Yeah, Jay, well, at some point you have to move on and say the best players play. And, look, I've made a fair share of my mistakes in my career, and you figure out the money in the offseason. And what's odd about Carson Wentz is he's played well in the NFL, and oftentimes when you see a player that doesn't work out, a top 5 pick, they lack confidence, they haven't had success. He's had success, so it's really, if I'm Howie Roseman, the GM of the Eagles, this is a tough one because you've seen him play well. But again, one thing that people don't understand, as a general manager, as a head coach, your audience is your locker room, and they hold you accountable. And if they know that there's a better player at practice not playing, that's just going to cause a lot of frustration and tension. And that's why eventually you put the contracts aside and say, hey, what gives us the best chance to win? And the crazy NFC East, Philadelphia is still alive.
No, they are still alive. Keyshawn J. Will Zubin is presented by Progressive Insurance. Mike Tannenbaum on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line is joining us. Let me ask you again about Carson Wentz, Jared Goff. Could you see either or both at some point throughout the rest of the season, having to take a seat?
Absolutely. And Sean McVay, he's a half a step behind Doug Pederson because they were swept again by San Francisco, which is, if I'm Sean McVay, I have to ask myself the question, do I have the quarterback that could get us to where we want to go consistently and beat San Francisco? And right now, the answer is maybe not. And even though you pay Jared Goff, he may not be your long-term answer. And when I watch Jared Goff, when the pocket is clean, he has elite accuracy, touch on the ball, arm strength, he can drive the ball. But when he gets messy in the pocket, people are at his feet, I think he makes poor decisions. We saw it against Miami. We saw it this week against San Francisco. And I would have real concerns because a lot of times in the NFL, you have to make throws that are off platform or, again, when the pocket isn't clean. And that's something that he has not gotten better at.
Mike, let's go from one quarterback in the NFC West to another in the West, in the Arizona Cardinals and Kyler Murray. Have teams cracked the code on him? Have they figured out Cliff Kingsbury and the way Kyler Murray are going to do this?
Jay, well, I have 3 concerns when you break down Kyler Murray. First of all, he has 11 batted passes. He's short. There's nothing they can do about that except they got to keep the pocket firm to give him the best chance to get the ball out. Secondly, he's only 20th in the league in yards per pass attempt, which is a key indicator that he's not getting the ball down the field. And given the weapons they have, that's something that him and Cliff Kingsbury can correct. And then third down. They have really struggled on third down. Right now, Kyler Murray's only completing 57% of his passes on third down. So those are 3 areas that he needs to get better. Now, he has all the ability in the world. I was wrong on him. I thought he was going to be too small. He's really dynamic. And if you go back to the game last week, he didn't play great against New England, but if they hit the 46-yard field goal, that game at a minimum is in overtime, and likely they beat New England.
Mike, what's the best current job opening in the NFL? You got the Lions, the Falcons, or the Texans. So you got 3 openings that sit there. What's the best one for one of these candidates that's out there?
Yeah, you always follow the quarterback, and you look at Houston, and I think Deshaun Watson right now, if you just look at how they're playing right now, Key, to me, he's top 5, maybe top 3 in the league. So you have a young quarterback. He's under contract. It all goes from there. You have a young owner that inherited the team. He's someone that hopefully you could work with and build with. So because of Deshaun Watson, I would start with the Houston Texans.
So that seems to be the reasonable choice. And by the way, I just wanted to mention on the Kyler Murray point, the teams are blitzing him a lot more now, a lot more. And there's a great piece on ESPN Plus this morning talking about if indeed the code has been cracked, as Jay has said. Mike, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
All right, Mike.
Great to be with you guys. Thanks.
Yeah, you made a mistake right here sitting in this chair, but we won't mention that.
What are you talking about?
Because Mike said I made some fair share of mistakes.
Gotcha. Involving yourself, perhaps. All right, thank you, Mike. Straight Talk Wireless, no contract.
You know I'm never letting him get away.
I know you weren't. I saw your face. Zubin was paying attention to something else, and Mike said, I made my fair share of mistakes. Key raised his hand. He was like, right here. Right here.
So we're asking you this morning on the Dr. Pepper Twitter feed,